Hi, my name is Cherie. Welcome to my journey. You know today is my Trash Talk Tuesday, right? Yeah. So we're gonna have to talk at least a little bit of trash. So anyway, I had to go on Google today and find out, did Trump's wife ever state in court that he raped her? And it was verified through Google that his wife claimed he raped her more than once. Like, what? Dang. So anyway, that just goes to show you that, we live in a rape, pillage, and killed culture. For real. So that's something that you can't deny. That's something that should be thrown out with the trash. And here's the bottom line though. The bottom line is, what difference does it make if one man does it? Right? It makes a difference when other men do it. And then they make it a whole culture. So now we're the rape and pillage culture that goes around exploiting folks. Okay? We should throw that out with the trash. Okay? We should throw that out with the trash. Another thing we should throw out with the trash is how we keep putting down people that are already beneath us, right? How do we know that a culture is beneath us? Well, if they're not in the top 5, because we're 6 when it comes to where we're at when it comes to our dollar bill, we should only be concerned about the top 5 who are above us. Why the hell we worried about, the Chinese money, the Japanese money, the Canadian money, the Mexican money? All of their monies are beneath the American dollar. So we need to throw that shit out with the trash, right? Stop trying to step on the neck of people who are already beneath you. Stop it. Throw it out with the trash. So remember when you used to be able to look at the skyline and see America sending strong light beams into the sky at nighttime, right? And we used to wonder, why are they lighting up the sky? What's up there, right? Well, come to find out that what they've been holding back from us is the fact that our ancestries come from, other planets, right? That's why we are different kind of evolving humanoids out here. Human species, humans, beings, okay? So anyway, we need to throw that out with the trash to believe that there isn't, other types of life forms or life on other planets. Maybe similar to ours, maybe, or not. Maybe they can evolve to similar to ours depending on the environment, right? If the environment calls for it, there's natural selection to adapt. We adapt when we have to. So why are we sitting up here dead set off of being a dummy and not believing that there's extraterrestrials out there? And yet we don't require them to inform us, if we've had, if we had extraterrestrials visiting our planet. They have. Otherwise, why did they allot so much money in trying to get off of the planet? Right? We definitely need to throw that out with the trash. Now, here's another thing. They talking about, well, they don't believe in planetary influences, right? How come within the last 75 years, with the upcoming of the age of Aquarius, we have all been downloaded through frequencies, sound, light, you name it, vibration, to have come to all of this technology. How? They don't have an answer. Well, they don't want to listen to the answer. I've said the answer many a times, but we need to throw that out with the trash to believe that this was just something that just naturally happened in the last 75 years. No, it was planetary influence. And thank you, Uranus. And I'm telling you, there's one thing that I'm not gonna back down. When a man sits up here and says that he is fighting with a woman, it's not a fight. That's a beatdown. I understand if you say you had an argument, but when you sit up there and you say you had a fight, you trying to make it seem like, you and your woman was, comparatively equal and y'all was duking it out. Because you don't do that to men. You don't go to a small man that's, 120 pounds and talking about, well, we just had a fight. No. Other men will say you didn't have a fight, man. You outweighed him. You were not his equal. There was no way that y'all should have been fighting. Unless you was fighting in self-defense. And that ain't the case. Why do you sit up here and make it seem like, human to human, the only time you can fight is in self-defense, but then you turn around and say, oh, you should be able to beat your wife. Like what? We can't even spank our kids, but you want to beat your wife? Throw that shit out with the trash. And some people even had the audacity to say, oh, well, she outweighed me. She was 350 pounds. Shit, we all know a 350 pounder gets tired. Most of that shit is fat because they're out of shape. You're not fighting somebody that's, physically fit. Stop the lies. We throw that bullshit out with the trash. We're not validating it at all. And while I'm at it, let me tell you something again. You're sitting up here talking about, the pineal gland is the connection between you and source, right? So tell me something. Why would you use the pineal gland to do destructive shit? Oh, because you thought nobody would tell on you? That you would be able to just get away with your narrative? But you're telling on yourself. Your intentions are also known. And you're like, well, why wasn't you stopped? Well, you wasn't stopped because you have free will. Now, depending on the amount of destruction you have intended, then they might step in and stop your ass. Like, say you got your hands on a nuclear weapon, they gonna make sure that you ain't gonna be able to utilize that. Not like you think you can. Okay? And oh my God, all of the jibber jabber about, CERN this and CERN that, right? These motherfuckers did not look up not one thing about CERN, right? They didn't look up shit about it. What it was, why was it turned off? You know, is this something different, or did it break down? Nope. Instead, they just had a whole lot of jibber jabber, you know, to talk about, you know, just to get attention. Oh my God. The things that y'all do now that, you know, you can make money by getting attention on the net, y'all are going to turn seriously into histrionics. It's going to be mentally degrading to you. You keep it up. So, yeah. I couldn't believe how many times people were like, oh, well, I think we lost our power because a CERN got shut off. I feel these shifts and this and that. You know, y'all don't know shit. And sometimes when you don't know shit, try to look it up. At least ask AI. Ask ChatGPT. Ask. Google. Ask. Before running your mouth. And stop trying to excite people. Stop trying to provoke them into fear and some, you know, down the fucking rabbit hole for no reason at all. Just stop. So, nobody can deny that we had accelerated so fast with technology in the last 75 years. You know, some of the stuff that's out here, you know, that has trickled down to the common folks, yeah, some of that shit is stolen. You know, there's patents out there that was stolen, right? And, you know, believe me, we know, right? And you did that with your free will. That's how you utilized your free will. You utilized your free will to do some fucked up shit, right? And you swear to God that, you know, you are a God and that you are entitled and that you're not going to face any repercussions. And worse than that, you had the audacity to try to get other people to believe that, so, you know, so they don't make you suffer here on this earth. Believe me, we're going to override that shit. We're going to override it. You know, just like you have all of these fucking agencies out here doing the work for the government, right? Oh, send in your application for this, send in your application for that. And yet, you know, not once do they have a checkoff slip that they have to sign to show that they had informed their customer of what they were supposed to teach or what they were supposed to inform the customer about. Okay? They don't. Like, for instance, you have these people out here that want to get, you know, that want to take people's Medicare, right? They should have a form that gets signed off that says, yes, you know, I have been informed that this is not Medicare, but it is a program, it is a medical program that can be purchased and funded through Medicare. This is all they have to do. Do they do it? No. But they pay these representatives good money every single year that these motherfuckers get these motherfuckers to sign a year contract. Believe me, I used to sell insurance. I used to be an insurance broker. I know. You're talking about, well, back then, I don't know what it is now, but back then, you know, we were getting like $200 to $300, maybe $400 per policy that we got signed. And some of that was reoccurring. Anyway, it's my Talk Trash Tuesday, and this is it. So, I don't care if you don't like me talking trash, but I'm going to talk my trash on Tuesday. I'm going to throw the trash out on Thursday, okay? Stay tuned.